You deserve the glory and the honor. I lift my hands in worship and I bless your holy name. You are great. You do miracles so great. There is no one else like you. There is no one else. Good morning and welcome back to your spiritual sports segment on Rhema Gospel Radio. Better than when you heard it yesterday. I'm CJ. Let's get it started. After 4,830 games, 161 games per team in Major League Baseball, we are down to the last 15 games of the regular season, and the hunt for October truly begins as I kick off the 7 American League scores with the Texas Rangers losing steam at the end of the season as they were literally smacked upside the head by the Oakland A's 12-5 as the A's win the AL West. The LA Angels were shut out and literally spanked by the Seattle Mariners 12-0 as Casper Wells homered and drove in 5 RBIs. The Baltimore Orioles were stunned by the Tampa Bay Rays 4-1 as Evan Longoria blasted not 1 and not 2 but 3 home runs. The Boston Red Sox were manhandled by the New York Yankees 14-2 with the 42nd and 43rd homers from Curtis Granderson as the Bronx Bombers clinched the AL East, while the Chicago White Sox shut out and annihilated the Cleveland Indians 9-0 as Dan Johnson launched his first, second, and third home runs of the season. The Minnesota Twins lost to the Toronto Blue Jays 2-1 as Brandon Morrow strikes out 11 batters and the Detroit Tigers shut out the Kansas City Royals 1-0 as the biggest highlight from the game was that Migueal Cabrera captured the Triple Crown, the first player in 45 years and 15-player period to do so, as he finished with an AL leading .330 batting average, 44 homers, and 139 RBIs. The American League will have their AL wildcard game on Friday as the Baltimore Orioles and the Texas Rangers duke it out to see who will advance. In sporting news, as training camps around the National Basketball Association are underway, those players who have flopped will have to adjust to an anti-flopping policy the league adopted yesterday. The league stated that flopping has no place in their game and will penalize those who are deemed to be floppers. The penalties that players will incur are as follows: receive a warning the first time, fine $5,000 for a second violation, fines increased to $10,000 for a third offense, $15,000 for a fourth, and $30,000 for the fifth flop, and 6 or more flops could lead to a suspension. With the news of the new policy, the Players Association will file a grievance with the NBA and also an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board, as they state, quote, the NBA is not permitted to unilaterally impose new economic discipline against the players without first bargaining with the union, close quote, as stated by NBA Executive Director Billy Hunter. For your NBA Quick Dribbles, the Houston Rockets' Royce White was a no-show for training camp, citing his anxiety disorder over the fear of flying, and stated in part, quote, it has been determined that without a specific plan in place, the current workplace is not healthy for me, close quote. And one discussion on the table is for White to have a private bus that will take him to road games. Video from the dashboard camera of a police car shows Los Angeles Clippers forward Matt Barnes directing a homophobic slur at a police officer during his arrest in late July, and he has since apologized. Veteran forward Rasheed Wallace has officially come out of retirement and signed with the New York Knicks to a non-guaranteed contract for the veteran's minimum for $1.7 million. Dana Davis, Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Memphis Grizzlies, has been found dead at the age of 56 in his apartment. May God rest his soul in peace. And finally, Trace McGrady, one of the top NBA players of the past decade, is considering playing in China this season if he is not picked up by a contending team. But if not, there is still a possibility he would not play in China, but he is not ready to retire. This sports